We're on page 174. I'm going to speak Lo Hashem. We mentioned yesterday that even though a Talmid Chacham, a Torah scholar, is required to be humble, he can't be too humble. Meaning there has to be a certain level of decorum that he's expected to maintain. Like a leader also, as much as he has to be humble, if a leader doesn't respect his own office, then he's going to be a problematic leader. And therefore, Rabbi Yonatan says the following: "V'lo chivu shu bigdei talmidei chachamim meshi b'choref ufishta daka b'kayitz." The sages did not require the Talmid Chacham to wear silk in the winter and fine linen in the summer. Ela shiu malbusho shel Talmid Chacham lavan v'naki. Rather, that all they asked was that a Torah scholar's clothing should be, listen carefully, white and clean. Now, he's quoting his father here. But in the text of his father's Mishneh Torah that we have, we don't find the word lavan, the word white. We just find the word naki, clean. And this leads to a few theories. It could be that they're mentioned here at the bottom. The word lavan in Hebrew is very closely associated in halakha with laundered. And the levanim are the clothes that are constantly being washed because they get dirty the fastest. It could be Rabbi Yonatan is saying clean and washed, not just clean as in they look clean, but they should smell nice, they should be clean. And there is a commentary on the Rambam by his great-grandson. So there's the Rambam, there's Rabbeinu Avraham, and Rabbeinu Avraham's great-grandson. His name was Rabbi David HaMaimuni. And from what I remember correctly, and don't hold me to it, you have to look online if what I'm saying is accurate. He was a Mekubal. He was a Kabbalist. And I may be confusing him with someone else in the lineage of the Rambam, who wrote a commentary on the Rambam's Mishneh Torah trying to prove that his great-great-grandfather was a Kabbalist also. And this is where begins the whole split off of, can we shove the Rambam into our Kabbalistic camp or not? And one of the greatest proofs that you can would be that even in his own family there was such a tradition, but that doesn't mean much. I mean, great-great-great-grandson is a pretty far removed title, but regardless of what you want to say, Rabbi David, he says that it should be white, actually, meaning it should be white clothing. Yeah.
White is the color of the Kabbalist war.
Oh, very good. So that's why I'm thinking that it's the same Rabbi David. The Mekubalim always were careful to wear white on Shabbat. In fact, there's a teaching by the Arizal in which he says that a person who wears black on Shabbat, it's almost as if they desecrated the Shabbat.
I love black a lot.
And he says worse, but I'm being nice. He says there can't be one article of clothing that a person wears during the week that is worn on Shabbat, from head to toe. Not the same kippah, not the same socks, not the same underwear, not the same shoes, not the same, nothing. Everything has to be special for Shabbat. That's not the halakha. The halakha is not like that, but the Mekubalim are very particular. Two things. One, they have a set of clothing only for Shabbat. And he writes, the Arizal, lo shayach, it's not possible at all to wear this clothing on any reason during a weekday. That means not at a wedding, not at a bar mitzvah, not at the inauguration of the new president of the temple, nothing. There's no reason. You always wear your weekday clothing on weekdays and your Shabbat clothing on Shabbat. And Mekubalim are very particular about it. Halakha doesn't say that.
Did you ever have any exposure to Rabbi Avraham Abalafi's commentary in New York?
Yeah.
And does he make a case for a Kabbalistic connection to the Rambam, or is he just...
I'm not that familiar with the writers. I'm going to the truth. Ibn Avraham Abulafia is one of the more fascinating Sephardic Mekubalim in the sense that he is what we would call pre-Lurianic Kabbalah. It's a kind of Kabbalah that could very well fit with the teachings of the Rambam, because the elements of Kabbalah that directly interfere with the Rambam's teachings are mostly those that come from the Zohar and onwards. And the Zohar being, in that case, for them, a problematic text. And therefore, these pre-Zohar Mekubalim seem to have an easier time getting along with the Rambam than the current Mekubalim do. I'm not familiar if in the world of Kabbalah there's still a branch of Abulafian Mekubalim, if I could call them that. But some would even call Rabbi Avraham Abulafia a rational Kabbalist, which is a very strange term to use on something. But that's the term they tend to talk about him in. So I don't know if it's just that he assumes such or that he actually makes a case about it. I don't know. Regarding white clothing, the Mekubalim in Yerushalayim do wear white. And if you're familiar at all with any Middle Eastern culture, black clothing is always a sign of mourning. Always. There is no reason to wear black in a celebration. You could look at the Saudi Arabian princes. When it comes to weddings and to bar mitzvahs, whatever they do there, they wear white from head to toe. White is a celebration. If you read the protocol of how the Catholic Church hunted down Jews who had been assumed to convert to Christianity, I mean, they were pretending to be converted to Christianity, but rather they were living a Jewish life at home. What they call the anusim, those who were forced against their will, or the crypto Jews, the hidden Jews. This word that the Spaniards made up, called the Marranos, literally means the pigs. And only a fool would use such a word today. It's a normal thing in Jewish education to use the word Marranos, but Marranos is like, it would be like calling ourselves some Nazi slur that they used about it. It was a word that was used in an anti-Semitic fashion. The Anusim, or the B'nai HaAnusim, are those who are alive today, but the Anusim, the protocol in the Catholic Church was look for people who wear white clothing on Saturdays. They most probably are Jews. I mean, if one Saturday you see somebody with a white shirt, fine. But if it happens more than once, you could probably assume that these people are hiding their Judaism, and it's so crucial for them to wear white on Shabbat. When I asked our parents about this, Arizal, he told me that if I could get together a group of people, 10, who would pray together and wear white on Shabbat, that should be the right thing to do. This he told me already when I was living in Israel. In Israel, there are groups who wear white on Shabbat. But they once asked Chamor Chaliyahu, who is the descendant philosophically of the Ben Ish Chai, what he thinks about this prohibition of wearing black on Shabbat. And he didn't read so much Kabbalah into it as much as he said, white in Baghdad, or where the Arizal lived in Tzfat, is the color of rejoicing, and black is the color of mourning. But today you find people wear black suits to a wedding, or black suits, I mean, it's a normal thing to wear. So in which case, the harshness of the Arizal, it's like desecrating Shabbat. It's not the same thing. Today it's really respectable to wear all kinds of clothing to happen events. But one has to know where they are and what they are and what they're able to accomplish. ואפילו יהיה כותנה גסה בחורף ובלועי פשתים בקיץ. Even if he wears coarse cotton in the winter and worn linen in the summer. The reason a Talmid Chacham would dress like this is for humility, meaning not to stick out that they have the nicest clothing in town. Even if he wants to go that extreme, his dress should be humble. לא יהיה מגואל בשמן ושמנונית וכיוצא בהם. It can't be filthy with oil or all kinds of stains, fat. You know, people eat and they drip on their shirt and they go, yeah, there's such people in the world, don't they? I saw a person who wipe his face into his coat jacket like this. Okay, I don't even imagine how many layers of years of food there's on this person's sleeve. But there are such people in the world. A Talmid Chacham, he can be humble, but to degrade himself is forbidden. There are limits to how humble you're allowed to be. וכן הנעליים, also his shoes, צריך שלא תהיינה מלאות עפר או טיט. They can't be full of dirt and mud שמטנפים את רגליו, that make his feet dirty. Listen again. They can't be full of mud and dirt that make his feet dirty. What kind of shoes that are muddy are going to make your feet dirty?
Sandals?
No, they're going to make your feet dirty.
Sandals.
Sandals. No, I'm talking about sandals. I don't know that Rabbi Yonatan Halevy ever saw a pair of shoes. I'm not sure. Something that covered all your feet.
He was in Egypt.
Yeah, most probably sandals, and you could see this. You could see people, even people, in Israel, there's a culture of wearing sandals in the summer. There are people who are clean. There are people who are not, and that's. שתהיינה נקיאות, they should be clean, ותשמורנה את רגליו מן הזוהמה, and he should take care that his feet should be clean. This Muslim practice of washing one's feet before tefillah is a Jewish practice as well. In the days that we used to wear sandals, we washed our feet. The Kohanim, when they came to the Beit Mikdash, had to wash their feet. It's very important.
You mentioned in early Christian books too.
Really?
Washing the teacher's feet.
Interesting.
Yeshua's feet.
Oh, very.
So was it because the feet got dirtier with sandals? Is that why?
Yeah.
It's also the Tumah.
No, there are elements of purity and impurity here, yes, but mostly we're talking about cleanliness. For a person to come at that Beit Knesset dirty is something people would do today, but it's not what used to be done. You come to Beit Knesset like you're walking into the chambers of the king. You would always come dressed properly. But he's saying dress properly doesn't have to mean fancy, it just has to mean clean and kempt. There's a term in halachic literature of tovel, somebody goes to the mikveh for purity, v'sheretz biyado, but he's holding an impure object in his hands. So what help does it help if you're in the mikveh but you're holding on to something impure? I see sometimes that, especially by religious Jews, I can't talk about the rest of the world because I don't know what the rest of the world does. There's this desire, let's say on Shabbat, to dress nicely. And in their head, what is dress nicely? A button-down shirt and a suit and a tie and a hat. Why? Because that's what they decided looks nice. So now you're dressing nicely, but your suit looks like somebody sat on it for the last week. And your tie is too short for your shirt, and your shirt is wrinkled, and your hat has dust all over it, and you're wearing it in the back. Who wears a hat in the back of their head? And all kinds of... And that makes you wonder, you look more like a clown who got his clothing at a thrift shop than a person who's dressed nicely for Shabbat. You would be better off wearing a nice polo shirt and pants than wearing this getup. But it's like someone who's in the mikveh. He's trying to do the right thing, but he's accomplishing it in an incorrect way. If you want to dress... I do think that it would be worthwhile for the world of yeshiva students to dress like... I don't know if you've ever been in Manhattan at 7 o'clock in the morning, when all the lawyers are running to work, and the bankers and the financial... They wear these suits and ties, and their shoes, they're like reflecting light at you. That's how shiny they are. And they have little briefcases. If yeshiva students looked as kempt as young professionals did, it would be a different world, a different level of respect for yeshiva students. Not because I think that's the way you need to dress for respect, but if you're anyways going to wear the same clothing, but wear it, I don't have a Hebrew word, fush lumper, you're walking around like a old drabby, and it doesn't look right. It doesn't make sense.
Well, you don't look like you just slept in your suit.
Yeah, correct. Listen, there are some people. I'm not saying, but if that's the reason why you're wearing this dress is to look nice, then make sure it looks nice. V'chen habayit, and also a person's house. Hagam she'eno me'ulaf, shaish. It's not paved with marbles. Nobody needs marble tiled floors. U'murutzaf avnei gazit. Nobody's asking you either to have stones. What do they translate these stones?
Tile.
Okay.
Say floors tiled.
ומסויד כהלכה. צריך להיות מטוטה ומזולף. It has to be at the very least, what's a matate? A broom. Very good. It has to be swept. ומזולף and sprinkled. Who sprinkles that floor?
Well,
Dirt floors they used to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Dirt floors, you sprinkle the dirt
Adobe
floors.
houses, because we lived in New Mexico. That's
Keep
what
the
you
dust
did.
down.
Oh, very good. Okay, so this whole idea is, it has to look kempt. Nobody's asked you to be fancy, but to be kempt. V'chen ha'machatzeret, also the mats. What are mats good for? If you have a dirt floor, what are mats for?
Keep the dust
You
down.
sit on them, you lay on them, you eat on them, right? You walk on them. Hagam shehi asuya k'nei suf or chelef. It's made of all kinds of different reeds or bamboos. Or lo tiyeh mego'elet u'mtunefet. A mat shouldn't be ugly. U'mikan efshar limod al kol sha'ar advarim. From this you can understand everything. Ki hatzimtzum v'choser hatafnukim mechaskim et ha'anava. Because simplicity and the absence of, I don't know what the word, ostentation, I don't know that I would translate this word. Tafnukim is like pinuk, like being spoiled. Those finer luxuries in life, if you avoid them, it does help with humility. It does. But he says, don't confuse humility and simplicity with dirtiness and disheveledness. He says, because that is nothing more than impurity and zilzul. It's degrading for a person. Hashem doesn't want a person to be degraded. Understand what I'm telling you, he says. And come to your own conclusions regarding everything else. I cannot draw a line down the middle of the world and say, this is what a humble person should drive, this is what a humble person should live in, this is what a humble person should wear, and this is what isn't. Like Zev mentioned the other night, it can't be artificial. And this is very much dependent on a person, on who they are, on what they are, on their financial means, on their position in life, on there are all kinds of calculations a person must make. And the bottom line is, it's okay to live a life of simplicity. But simplicity and degradedness is not the same thing. To degrade yourself, to be dirty, to be disheveled, that's not what Chazal mean when they say to be simple. Simple is, I don't need 7 brand new tailored suits in my closet at the same time. I can make do with 1, with 2. I don't need to have every bit of my clothing from some famous company. It could just be a normal shirt that I got in a store somewhere. But it doesn't mean that you should walk around. And it's also put about a person. A person can know that if they dress a certain way, it'll keep them humble, or if they dress a certain way, it might break them. There are people. I had a friend, not a friend, a roommate in yeshiva. He was very wealthy. When I mean very wealthy, I wasn't used to this kind of. I wasn't lacking anything, but he had a budget every week to go shopping for clothing. A guy.
Every week?
Yeah, every week, from his parents.
He had a budget.
A budget. Yeah, it was a budget. And he would come back home. I don't even know where you buy such clothing. With shoes, every week a new pair of shoes.
What?
Every week.
Really?
Yeah, you wear them for Shabbat. And sometimes the rest of the week, next Shabbat, you buy a new pair of shoes.
Sounds like a mold.
And his shoes, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, if I remember once seeing shoes with a receipt of $600 on them. What do you wear $600?
Must be
Yeah, I've heard of people that.
You're walking on somebody else's rent money. You know, this is what you're walking on somebody else's car lease. Both of them. It's an interesting.
Yeah, the OJ shoes.
But but I'll tell you the truth. If this person, if you would tell him, you know, come with me, tell me a story that's not so. I don't shop around. I don't. Macy's is a good store. Yeah, it's not a bad store.
No.
It's not Goodwill, right?
Nordstrom's.
Nordstrom's. If I would take him to Nordstrom's and buy a $120 pair of shoes, I can imagine that he would feel like it's Tisha B'Av.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not normal what his frame of reference is, but for him, wearing a $20 pair of shoes would break him inside. And it could be for him, that would, just compare it, it could be for him that would be the same thing as one of you wearing shoes that had no soles on them.
Wasn't you were talking about how one yeshiva or school didn't allow clothing
The
with
yeshiva I went
tags
to,
from really
no brand
expensive,
names on the exterior of the clothing. So not you can wear whatever you want. It costs as much as you want, but you can't make another student feel like he doesn't have money. I'm not sure this is still able to be enforced. We live in a world where there's a lot of things we already gave up the battle about. But you would think that there's still.
So if he had $600 shoes, what were his suits like?
No, they were very-
$1,000 suits or more.
I never saw somebody wear a silver suit that sparkled in the sun, and it looked like someone made it out of a plastic bag. I never saw
The
my
shark
life
skin
saw.
material, the
Sounds
shark
like a
skin.
thing.
Yeah, it looked like a
They used to call
I think it's
leisure
called shark
suits.
skin.
Yeah, leisure.
Back at the
leisure
disco
suits.
days, yeah.
Okay.
Wool jackets,
Yeah.
polyester.
Now, what was more impressive than buying this clothing was getting away with wearing it in yeshiva.
Oh.
That was more impressive. The more impressive feat was being able to go to the baby dress dressed like that. But to each their own. That's what I'm saying. Rabbi Yonatan says there's no way to judge. Rather, every person knows themselves and the levels of humility that are needed for themselves. And I think that there is a culture, and it's very strong in this country specifically, but every society. So why is the 10th commandment? Do not covet. That's what they call it. Covet.
Yeah.
Covet.
Tachmod.
Yeah.
Don't desire something that's somebody else's. It doesn't just mean don't want someone else's wife. That's obvious. This is if you want someone else's wife. That's of course. Today I was in a place where a lady put out her hand, and I said, "I'm sorry, my wife gets jealous." That's what I always tell people. And then she still kept her hand out. And then I realized, she said, "Oh, you don't want to shake my hand?" Da, da, da. And at a certain point, I was thinking about it, like, you're offended. You're offended. What about my wife being offended that I'm touching you? Why do you have a monopoly on being offended? If my wife saw me holding someone else's hand, she'd come break my bones. It's a lie. It's no.
You don't do that.
It's okay to be a zealot for your spouse. You're allowed to. What's the problem? But how did I get here? What was I just telling you about?
Well,
No, tachmod. No, that's obvious that a person doesn't want some other guy touching his wife. That's a normal thing. It's when you see someone. It's the opposite of don't covet, but don't cause people to want what you have. There are some people that they only buy their cars or their houses or their clothing. The calculation that goes into their mind is, what's going to happen when I pull into the parking lot?
Wait till the neighbors see this.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when I walk into shul with this new... The whole attitude has nothing to do with you and everything to do with everyone else. You want to make everyone else notice you. That attitude is very sad. It's a very scary one. And in fact, there's a halakha. I once heard Pastor Mike on the radio. I don't know who he is, but he used to do like the cool Bible for teenagers. And when I was in my Volkswagen van again back in the day, it was one of the few radio shows that would get picked up with that antenna in there. And this, so Pastor Mike, this time he was giving a class on the Old Testament, where it said, you should not put a stumbling block in front of a blind man. So our rabbis understand this obviously to mean, let's say someone comes to you for business advice and you know about the business and they don't know. Don't give them bad information. Don't put a stumbling block in front of a person who doesn't know any better. Or don't cause a person to do something wrong when they don't know that it's wrong. You know that a Jew isn't 100% observant of Shabbat. Don't ask him to turn on the lights for you just because he doesn't know you can't. That's a ridiculous thing. Don't put a stumbling block in front of a blind person. This Pastor Mike had a whole other approach to don't put a stumbling block. He said, it was like speaking this light. He sounded like he was surfing while he was speaking. He said, the chosen people of God are coming to the land of Canaan, or Kehillat, they said it. And he says, and God is so worried that these people are going to stumble and they're going to find blind men and they're going to take backpacks or cabinets, and they would find blind people and put it in front of them, watch them trip over, and they would laugh at them. And God had to warn the chosen people not to do such a terrible thing like that. I'm thinking the chosen people who just left Mitzrayim, who just got the Torah on Mount Sinai, you have to tell them not to find blind people and put backpacks in front of them and not laugh when they fall. But his understanding of this Torah is like his mind is, Elchanan could understand the Chumash better than what he could understand.
It's
half-baked.
Someone sent me an agreement on Facebook today. Someone posted an agreement to get your kids into school. The parents must
agree to X, Y, and Z.
Right. Skirts, mid-calf, neck covered, only pale shades of nail polish. Shaitels can't go past the shoulders. To have your kids in the school and you're a parent, you have to do this.
That covers it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
Makes a father can
yeah. That's
Nothing about the fathers.
unfortunately
Both
there's
parents have to
nothing
sign
I
it.
haven't heard before. But to wrap it up, sometimes when it comes to having other people desire what you have, there's also a stumbling block. You could sometimes be guilty of putting a stumbling block in front of another person. You could be the one causing someone else to want what you have, and so much desire. And it doesn't mean you can't drive a nice car or own a nice house. It's also the way you do it. It's the way you have it. It's what you use it for. It's the way. And everyone, kol chacham, every person who has da'at should do things the way Hashem has granted him and the knowledge and insight. To know how to be humble, not to degrade oneself, and not to cause other people to always be looking at you.